Number 6, I like to go with 8 Mile. 8 Mile, definitely one of my favorite hip hop joints. Eminem playing himself. That's basically what's based on. Like a lot of these hip hop movies is based on they lives. They just change stuff around, tweak it a little bit, fabricate it. You know, they don't want to say that was based on their lives, but when you get to know them and find out their history, it's based on their life. You know, a lot of the old hip hop movies from back in the day, which I'm gonna get into real soon, they just gave a little script for the actors, gave it to them, and they played themselves. Like later on, hip hop artists just wound up playing more different roles than outside of they character and they persona on the stage, like that, like playing detectives and stuff like that. And as always, they always want to give the hip hop people that get into movies, especially the dudes, man. They always want to have players have cops roles, always undercover cops or detectives. Why? Like acting like that's the only roles we able to play. Like back in the day, we only played butlers and slaves and all that, and then getting into like later in the years, and then we started playing most undercover cops. Like Eddie Murphy's first movie, he played a cop, undercover cop. They do the same thing with the hip hop artists, man. They always give them same type of roles. Even Run DMC, when they was in the movie Who's the Man, like they played detectives. But getting back to 8 Mile. 8 Mile, like I said, is based on Eminem life. Him coming up, underground artist, had to prove himself, and going against the boy Papa Doc. Papa Doc, the boy that used to battle underground, became well known in the Marvel movies and then the Avenger movies as the Falcon. So you go back and see 8 Mile, and then you see Avengers, you be like, oh yeah, that was Papa Doc from 8 Miles. And he also, Papa Doc, the boy that played Papa Doc, also played in She Hate Me, the Spike Lee movie, when he was messing with all the chicks and giving them, impregnating them and stuff like that, and the chick was making money off of them. You know what I'm saying? Getting females to have sex with them. They was having babies bombing. He had all these babies everywhere. But like that was the movie that really like put him on a map. She Hate Me. And 8 Mile is that work, man. Like it showed Eminem in his purest form, why he is a beast, a lyrical beast. Definitely one of the top notch European rappers of all time, no doubt. Number 5, folks. Number 5, I gotta go with the coming of age hip hop movie. Came out in 1990. I gotta go with House Party, people. Gotta go with House Party. House Party was that work. It was like I said. It came out in 1990. It was the beginning of the 90s. The beginning of the 90s. And it was showing how he was coming from the 80s to the 90s. Still showing how expression, the way we dress, our hairstyles with the high top fades and the parts, slanted parts and all that stuff. Nowadays, 2020 came right back. You still see the basketball players, the football players, and everybody coming back with the high top fades, parts on the side, parts curved in the middle. Like, that stuff don't never go away. And it started Kid and Play. Like Kid and Play was the happy-go-lucky rappers of the 90s. They was all talked about was partying and having a good time, and that's the way hip-hop started. It started in the house parties, and the basements, and it started in the park, and they went back to the original parties that was in the house. It wasn't in the house, it was in your mom's basement, the dollar parties, and that's the way hip-hop started. And when you was a young teenager, man, back in the day, when we had the music and the turntables and all that, that's where it started. The 90s and on, still the same way. And I love, that movie, man, House Party. Definitely one of my top. A lot of the comedians was up in the House Party. You go back and see people like, I remember that person. And rest in peace to Robin Harris, one of my favorite black comedians, underrated. A lot of people know, unless you my age and older, I love Robin Harris. Everything he said was funny, man. Everything he said was funny. Like when he see the boy Ezel from Friday was in there. He was the one at the party, and he was like looking for Kid. And he was like, "Where Kid at?" And he see him. He like, "What's your name?" I think he said his name. Keith or Kenneth X or something. He's like, yeah, I'm Muslim. He's like, oh, you Muslim, huh? Well, go home, give me 2 bean pies and a pork chop sandwich. Yo, rest in peace, my dude, Robin Harris, man. House party. You know what I'm saying? Ain't gonna hurt nobody on the dance floor. Ain't gonna hurt nobody. Get down on the floor. Yo, I love House Party. I also love House Party too. Breaking was that work. It was a good. It was all about breakdancing. Turbo, he was the coolest ball on cinema with the high top paid with the parts, dancing outside and doing all the movements. The pot locking, that was their style. The pop locking, him and Ozone, and he was the coolest ball, black ball, in the hip hop movies. The number 2. And I'm gonna go with my number 1 in a few minutes. And I'm about to tell y'all who was, to me, the coolest black ball on cinema in the hip hop movies. But he definitely was number 2. Ozone, the light skin ball, he played in a lot of shit. He even played in Miami Vice, an episode on there. He was one of the members of Reruns, Dancing Crew. If you go back and watch What's Happening, the show from back in the day in the 70s that everybody know with Rerun and Roger and all them, Dwayne and D and all them. He used to always have his dancing crew, and they used to always make fun of him and all that stuff like that. That was his real dancing crew. And they thing was all about dancing, pop lock, and all that. You watch old episodes of What's Happening, you will see Ozone. You be like, oh yeah, that is Ozone from Breaking. So he was definitely well known on the cover. Tip like that, he had popped up in a lot of stuff you may see. You even had John Claude Van Damme, the karate boy that wound up doing all the karate movies from back in the day, like Lionheart and all that, and Bloodsport, my favorite movie of all time. He had a little small part before he was known. He was one of the dudes that was outside, doing some weightlifting on the bench. He had some like real short shorts on, and he had like a little small part in that joint. Ice-T, before he became the Ice-T as we know, he was definitely had of parts in Breaking. And I love how they trained the white girl, taught her how to dance, and got her to break dance. He went to the underground circuit, challenged the dudes that was like real popular with they female. They had a female breaker, and they couldn't do nothing after the female came out, bust their ass. So what they had to do, get themselves a female break dancer. And they went and got the white Joan. She became part of their crew, bust that girl ass, man. And it's definitely a movie, with the style of dress and the way they used to dress and all that. It was done in '84. So people, the younger generation now, watching it from back in the '80s, that's where we used to dress, y'all. Y'all sit back, laugh at it. She had like the big, joints around her, the workout bands around her wrists and her leg, ankles and all that. That's the way, it was a real expressatory time at that time in the '80s. Expressing was a real big thing. We was coming showing our true colors. It's all about that, and that's what hip hop is about. It's about expression and being yourself and being cool. The true definition of being cool is being yourself.